Hey everybody, I am BJ and I'm here with This Week in WordPress on behalf of Elegant Themes. Every Friday we get together to go through the newest news, tutorials, and resources that have been published this week in WordPress. If you have anything that you want to share that's happened in your week in WordPress, can I say that enough times? Share them in the comments. If you have any questions, we'll be able to talk about them. So I remembered to turn my mic on this time, so let's get to it. Hey everybody, once again. I see a lot of people already saying stuff in the comments. Hi Dominic, hi Michael, hi to was it India and to Jersey. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. I know I am. It's a wonderful Friday here. I cannot wait for the weekend, and I'm really excited to be able to get outside, hopefully some this weekend. Hopefully you guys have some wonderful plans as well. So like I said, I wanted to remind you guys, if you have anything that you want to share, feel free. We have a very active comment section on both YouTube and in Facebook. I do my very best to pay attention to both of them and talk back and forth. So feel free to ask any questions. People tend to help out quite a bit, and I'll do my best to get to as many questions and comments as I can as we go through this. So let's have a discussion. So remember, all of the all of the links that I'm talking about today are going to be in the description of this video. So whether on YouTube or Facebook, you can just click open the description and just click through all of the links that I'm talking about. I've got them separated into different sections that we'll go through. So make sure that you guys go through that. I see a couple of people in the comments. Matthew in Fort Worth, actually, y'all have a nice weather. I'm glad to hear that. It's been kind of wonderful here, except for allergies here in North Alabama. So in Florence, it's been, the weather's been great except for all the tree pollen. So hopefully Fort Worth is better than that. And Dominic has over a foot of snow outside on Facebook. Where do you live, Dominic? That's insane to me. I was talking to my friend in Minnesota the other day, and he was talking about how there was a foot of snow coming up, and that would actually close the schools there. And I've never seen a foot of snow. That I don't even know what that looks like. So it's crazy to me. Toronto, would you guys be able to know about the snow there too? Ooh, man. And I had a comment, Nickel, I think, ask what the best theme to buy is. Generally, I honestly say Divi. That's the one I switch to. There are probably different ones for the different things you need to do, but honestly, Divi is on actually my go-to, whether I worked here or not. So anyway, through that, I wanted to start out on the news today on a really high note. This week is 10 years of Elegant Themes that we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary as a company. It was 10 years ago that Nick put out the very first Elegant theme, and I think it was called Blue Sky, wasn't it? Some of you guys may have had it, and so we are doing a wonderful sale. So I do have to put this up there that we're having a 20% off sale for memberships. So if you go to the link in the description, you can read through the timeline that they've put together, as well as the get the discount on your membership or upgrade or anything like that. But I think the most interesting part that really is, there's a see our journey button, I think, something along those lines, and I needed and I spent a lot of time reading that the other day, just things about the company I didn't know. They put together a really cool thing, so y'all need to go check that out, absolutely. And this is one of the few times that we have a discount this steep as well, so y'all are good. I see Rick saying that Elementor is pushing new blocks in 2.0. Need those in Divi. I actually haven't seen what the new blocks are that they're putting in. I'll get to one thing that we'll talk about here in just a minute about our next big update. But I know that we're working on a lot of cool stuff too. Like I said, I haven't seen the cool blocks. I know that they're pushing 2.0 really soon. So I found out that there were a couple of cool blocks there. that are already there, I think, maybe, or maybe they're coming. I don't know, for like Facebook comments that were pretty neat. So yeah, we got some cool updates coming too. The first thing in news that I put in here is kind of a weird pseudo news. You like my crazy pseudo hands here? And no, not like Linux. I'm not like telling you that you need to go do something. No, the first article that I pulled up on here is choosing between React and Vue for WordPress development. And the reason I put this in news is for two reasons. That they go through a really, really solid description and really analysis of what the two frameworks do, what the two libraries do for JavaScript. And Vue is a much easier to grasp framework and library than React is. It gives some back and forth on, you can use either one with WordPress in your development. You're not locked into React or anything like that. But I did want to I did want to let you guys know that, and remind you, I guess is the better way to put it, that Gutenberg that's coming up is written in React. And so they did stick with React despite all the Facebook stuff that was going on about 6 months ago. And they did decide to stick with React. And the Divi builder is actually also built in React. That when we went through and completely rebuilt the visual builder, that we used React. The backend builder I know uses Backbone, I think, and then the front uses React. And we have a new update coming soon-ish. I haven't gotten a date on it, but it is the developer update. Nick posted about this in some of the Facebook groups recently. And what we're going to be doing is having a lot more interaction with the visual builder for developers. So that will mean, and I don't know, like I said, I'm not one of the developers, but I know that because we've built in React and Gutenberg is built in React, that if you guys, if you Divi Nation developers out there are going to do anything, you may want to look into React over Vue. But it was a really good breakdown by Torque about the differences in the two and choosing between them. So I wanted to let you guys know so that you could know the things that are going on in the back end here. Not the back end like the back end builder, but coming up, that the developer update is coming soon. Rick says in Facebook that there are 250 blocks in beta. Is that additional blocks, Rick? For the other builder for Elementor? I'm curious. That's a lot of blocks. Oh, and Dominic is in Massachusetts where all the spring is. Yeah, or where all the snow is. Yeah, spring cannot get there enough for you, man. That is insane. That is crazy. That it's not spring yet because we're having like 80-degree weather right now. Hello, Irfan from to Pakistan. That's awesome. Hi. I had some Pakistani students for years, and they were some of my absolute favorite students. I learned a lot about your country from them. It sounds wonderful. So moving forward, like I said, I wanted just to let you guys know about the React and Vue thing. Think about the developer update and the 20% off right now to buy Divi or Elegant Themes membership. We always say Divi. I say Divi, you and I say Divi. But another Torque Mag article that posted this week is that they've announced all of the WordCamp Europe speakers this year. And I've never been to WordCamp Europe, but I'm a really huge proponent of WordCamps. That I've been to the national one here in the United States, WordCamp US. It's in Nashville, Tennessee, again in 2018, like it was last year. And I wanted you guys to have the link to see all of the speakers for WordCamp Europe that are coming up, because there are some really big people, and especially this one is going to have a lot of focus of programming on Gutenberg. I mean, it has to, with all of the stuff coming out just soon. So they've got Morten Rand Hendrickson, Matthias, whose last name I can't remember, and a lot of other entire Gutenberg team is going to be there talking, and they've announced all of that and what they're talking about, and it's going to be in Belgrade, Serbia. So if any of you guys are planning on going to WordCamp Europe, tickets are still on sale, I believe, that y'all really need to check it out. If you've never gone to a WordCamp, I really think you're going to have a huge time there. It is so much fun. I've never been to a WordCamp that I did not just have an absolute blast at. So if you're in Europe, if you're within flying distance of Belgrade, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. It's probably different, but from Serbia, then maybe that'll be a good trip for you to take. I had a couple of comments. Uncle Social says that people from London say "evening, governor." People from Yorkshire say "I up." And he is watching Torrin closely. I got to scroll up and see what Torrin said now. I completely missed what he said. Oh no, I don't see Torrin in the comments right now. No. I don't know what he's talking about. But I thought it was funny. I just saw "evening, governor," and I was like, I can't say things like that with an accent, though. Yeah, and Uncle Social's talking about, I said 80 Fahrenheit. He's like, yeah, I can't convert to Celsius. Can't even say Celsius. And Rick Owens on Facebook, the Elementor thing, that's a lot of blocks. I'm gonna have to go look into that whenever I get done here, just to see what those blocks are. That's a crazy number. Honestly, more than I'd be able to keep track of. I'd have to use the search feature all the time. And this was news to me. Like, next up, okay, so there's not a link for this, but there is. I put a little blurb in there because I learned this week, and I wanted to tell you guys that I've never used managed WordPress hosting. Not where I have a full-on dashboard that's not my WordPress dashboard and that's not connected to a cPanel. I've used different ones that are pseudo like that, but it was news to me this week that you can use the Godaddy Pro or the ManageWP dashboards. They're exactly the same. Godaddy bought out ManageWP, the managed hosting there, but their managed dashboard, I didn't know that you could add your own WordPress sites to this. That anything that you've already got, any client stuff that you have, as long as you have the credentials and can log in and add plugins, you can add those to any of those WordPress dashboards to be able to keep everything in one place for updates and management and do all of that for free. There are a few things you can't do for free, obviously, because it's paid. And I was amazed by this. I was really happy about this because it's something that I've always wanted to play with. It's something that I've always wanted to really get into and never wanted to pay a lot for. So I've played with Flywheels a little bit, but I actually really like the ManageWP one. I've always heard good things about them. So to see that I could do that with sites I already have, it's wonderful. So check that out. Like I said, GoDaddy Pro, which is their new business plan for managed hosting, and ManageWP, they use the same software for that because GoDaddy bought out ManageWP. So check that out. That's awesome. And my mouth gets really dry. My medicine that gives me dry mouth right now. So forgive me drinking a lot more. Next up, the Let's Encrypt finally put out wildcard certificates. That if you guys have been waiting on Let's Encrypt to have free wildcard certificates for your domains so that one certificate will cover all of your subdomains as well, it is there now. Click on the WP Tavern article under news and figure out how to get all of it set up, because this is something people have been wanting. It's going to save a lot of time and trouble for doing like multi-site networks, because you can just do it one time now. You get a single Let's Encrypt certificate and it will work for your entire multi-site network. So hopefully that will ease some trouble for you guys. I know that when it was announced that there were people who in our Slack in Elegant Themes were just cheering that they were excited for the wildcard ones just when they announced it. So now it's live and everybody will be able to do that and get your multi-sites and just a lot of different sites. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be multi-site. If you're just running things on a subdomain, that's really important for you. It's going to save a lot for you. Like Torrin said on the comments on YouTube there, it really is good to know. Uncle Social says he downloaded Flywheel Local late last week. It's changed his world. but they won't stop ringing you. Really, they managed to track down my phone number with some investigation work. I have never had that happen, Uncle Social. Like, I have never once had a phone call from anybody like that. I've used local, and I know a lot of people who do, and I've had calls with Flywheel for other reasons. Never had it for that. That's crazy. Man, I'm sorry, but the software is great. Like, I can't say that. On YouTube, Chopper Ward said, is there an easy way to center a logo image on a Divi slider module? I've never done that on a slider module. The only thing that I could think of is if you use the Z index up and auto margin on the side, but that's not the same. That would just let the slider move around in the background but keep the logo in the middle. So somebody else probably has a better a better solution to that than I do. And the last thing in the news is that Stack Overflow. You guys know Stack Overflow, right? The developer, haven, the heaven where if something is wrong, Stack Overflow has already fixed it. They always send out developers a survey every year to rank like what they love, what they don't. It goes through a whole bunch of stuff, and they always talk about the platforms and the way they put it. Which ones do you dread working with? And they WordPress always ranks. It's always up there because, and I'm sure that you guys have gotten this as well, that if you're not a WordPress developer, if you're not in it like us and you can respect it and know how powerful it is, it gets a whole lot of flack that people are like, oh God, I got to work with WordPress again. And, I've been out for a beer before and I had somebody who was a Ruby on Rails guy start talking crap about my my WordPress. And it's just like that's, and so I got not into it, the nerd arguments like we do. So last year it was number 3. It was the third most hated, most dreaded CMS and platform to deal with, behind, I think that they said Salesforce, and I'd have to click on the link because I don't have that one pulled up right now, behind Salesforce and goodness gracious, SharePoint. Yeah, I do not like SharePoint. I've used it way too much. But yeah, behind Salesforce and SharePoint, it was dreaded, and it was number 3. This year, it has moved to number 6. That people do not dread using WordPress double as much as they did last year. Now it is behind SharePoint, Drupal, Salesforce, Mainframe, and Windows Phone. It kind of makes me sad that it took until this year for WordPress to get ahead of Windows Phone. That speaks to the state of how we're perceived outside. So I thought that was funny whenever I saw that it was Windows Phone on there. Excuse me. So that was all of my news. Like, that was all the news that I had. So, for anybody who is just joining in, somebody who's just joining in, this is the This Week in WordPress stream. I am BJ, and I have just finished up the news section of it, and we are moving into the tutorials and resources section, where every week I gather up a bunch of links that I think are going to be helpful and fun. We talk about it, we have a discussion, and so just, that's what we do. Make Friday go by just a little bit faster. So make sure that that you chime in, say hello, tell us where you're from, what's going on, what happened in This Week in WordPress for you. So moving on just a little bit, before I get into the tutorials, I wanted to add a section in okay, so every week I tell you to throw stuff at me, and now I'm going to have a section every single week, if you do this, viewer submissions. I mean, stuff that you find that you think is cool that you want to share with everybody and talk about. So today I was on Twitter. I got a notification from Uncle Social, and he sent me an absolutely fantastic article from Ars Technica about how a comment section turned chaos into order with a simple quiz. And this is absolutely fantastic, is that there's a Norwegian company who has made a WordPress plugin. It's not on the repo, but you can download it from GitHub and install it through this article. They got a link there that doesn't let people comment on your article until they answer a quiz that you have set up to guarantee that they have read it. So it stops anybody from just throwing an argument out there and trying to troll people and really get into it by making them have actually read the article and know what they're talking about before they can say anything. And it makes me so happy. It made me I just like the world just became a lighter, brighter place when I saw that, because it was just something that I love. I also included a link right under it that it reminded me of one of my favorite XKCD webcomics. It is called Listen to Yourself, and I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I just want you to know that I want you to go read that, click on it. It's very, very fun, very clever, and always remember to hover over XKCD comics because they have funny alt text as well. But YouTube actually did what this comic said to do, and they did it for a long time. I'm not sure if it still does it, but for a long time that was actually a feature on YouTube. So I want you guys to know that. So I thought that was fun. Thank you, Uncle Social, for sharing that. And if anybody ever has anything that you'd like me to include, take a look at, and see if it's something we can talk about, shoot it to me at bj@elegantthemes.com, and I'll take a look at it, and we can talk. There's a lot of comments going on right now, a lot of commentary going on about the logo on the slider. People are talking about blending it and getting it on how to get it stacked and put it on there right. Lauren, excuse me, who was it? Yeah, Lauren asked how to make the arrows bigger on a Divi slider, and I think those are the CSS classes that Columbian Hosting has. .et pub arrow next and et pb arrow previous. Those are something that I always have a hard time remembering. A lot of the ones that have a lot of dashes in them with the short codes and classes, I just have to inspect on stuff like that. The fact that you were able to remember that, Columbian, amazes me, because I sure can't. Uncle Social says, why isn't Umbraco on the list? Do some basic updates to Umbraco. That's always makes me sad. I have never used it, that I don't even know what it looks like. The one that I dread is one that my wife ends up using a lot, called Couch. It's a Couch CMS. It's an open source CMS, PHP, but I don't have fun with it. So I'm trying to get them to go to WordPress. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Read the XKCD. So into the tutorials, I'm going to... Oh, hold on one second. Michael Dennison says, why can I still not get my API number on the site? I'm assuming, Michael, that you have gone to the members area, logged in, and gone to your account at the bottom on the sidebar and hit your API key. Is that where, have you looked there? I'm assuming, because that's the only thing that I know. If you have put in a ticket on the support forum and you have a link to that, email me that at bj@elegantthemes.com, and as long as I have the link to the support forum post, I can link that to the support team in Slack, because they always ask for the support forum link. Otherwise, they can't go through the process of doing it. So if you can throw that at me, just shoot me an email. I will look for that and throw it in Slack as soon as I get it. So that is all I can do, because otherwise I have no idea, because that's where I get my API key. Since you've tried that, that's all I can do. But throw me an email and I'll do what I can. Leopold, you're welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And Rick, Rudimentary on YouTube, asks, is there a way to know what websites have used my API key? Rick, no, and we wish there were. That's something that we've talked about. We don't know when it's coming in, but I know a lot of us really want, even on the team, a lot of us really want API management like that, to be able to see and just kind of add an API key and put in the, just a new form to keep up with them for different API keys. I know that we've talked about that just as teams. I don't want to say it's coming, but I know that we bother the dev team a lot about it. So hopefully it will come. So they are aware that that is wanted. I promise you, because I'm sure they hear it every day from us or somebody else. But I wish there were. If there is, I don't know how to do it. Leopold says he's a CSS beginner here. Are there any good tutorials on learning how to best use custom CSS? For me, Leopold, I used teamtreehouse.com, codecademy.com, and codeschool.com. When I was starting to freelance, I went through all of those and did as much of the CSS tutorials as I could just to really refresh myself on it. Then I went and started breaking my own websites, trying to do what I had learned, and as I tried to fix what I broke, I ended up learning a lot more. That's how I would do it, but the three that I used a lot that really got me out of being able to, if there's a way to like learn the best, it was Team Treehouse, Codecademy, and Code School, and just 100 other random other things that I found. But I was doing a lot of Ruby stuff at the time, so those are the three that worked with CSS, HTML, and WordPress for me. People are talking themes for affiliate marketing. I've honestly just used Divi for that. I've set up really basic themes on Divi with different layout packs. That's what I've done. The travel pack actually did pretty well for me with that one recently. Michael asked if I have to have an API key for every site. No, your Divi API key, you can use the same one all you want. That is one thing. It's probably a good idea to have an API key for every site, but you do not have to. W3 Schools is really good. W3 Schools Colombian hosting. Thank you for CSS. W3 Schools is great. I end up, that is one of my go-to. The other day, let me tell you guys, I was trying to make a note in one of my articles that I was turning in, and we write them in the HTML using the text editor, and like when we finish up for formatting, and I couldn't remember how to make an HTML comment. Y'all, I couldn't remember how to make an HTML comment because all I was doing was CSS comments, and I could not remember how to do it, and I had to go look it up on W3 Schools. And I was like, why can I not remember this? I learned this when I was 14, and I just could not remember it, you guys. Rick asked if there's a way to deactivate it on a lifetime license. Think an employee is using it externally without your permission. I've not had to deactivate one. It might be in your dashboard to do that. If not, throw a line of support on that one because there has to be a way. Like there should be a way on that. Okay, LV says that you can deactivate it in your ET account. Awesome. I haven't had to do that, so that's why I asked. Matthew, should I be ashamed to admit it that I learned most of my CSS from ET support staff? No, you absolutely should not, Matthew. And the reason I say that is because when I first as I started easing into freelancing and easing into doing this stuff, that I actually found Divi through Googling and doing everything like that. Just finding stuff that I needed that I broke. And I ran across a lot of Max posts and Brenda Barron's and Tammy Graves, a lot of their tutorials on the Elegant Themes blog. And I didn't know it until after I'd started working here that when I'd gone back, when I went to look back up at these tutorials that I was using and the cool what is it? The snippets that I had used before. I went to find them, and they were ET blogs. No, so that's not bad at all. I know that, I'll get into one of the reasons why in just a second in the tutorial section. But no, they put out good stuff. I could never put out the stuff that they put out on that particular stuff on the blog. Cement asks, is the Divi theme compatible with the Content Egg plugin? I've never used it. Hopefully someone else has. I don't know. I'm sure it is. We do our best to, support as much as we can. If it doesn't do any really weird, wacky things, I don't see why not, but I'm not sure. Rick in Facebook, Rick Owens says that there are some cool apps you can download to learn CSS too. I didn't even think about that doing this, Rick. What are some of them that you know because on Android or iOS? Because that's a great idea, and I never thought about it. I was just on my laptop the entire time. and people are, Daryl asked if there's a cheat sheet that lists all CSS classes built in Divi modules. Yes, there is. CSS. I found it before. See, let me see if I can find it. Elegant Marketplace has one for, I think, $4. I cannot remember where I found it, but I know that there is. I'm Googling it for you as as I'm here streaming. This is the beauty of live streaming, that I can try to find this stuff for you. Oh, no, that's not what I need. That was one from our blog. That wasn't what I needed. I've used it before. I know there have been some on the Facebook groups. I'm looking. Don't worry, you guys. I'm trying to find this. But there is one on Elegant Marketplace if you want to pay for it. I know there's some out there for free. I'll keep looking. As I do this, I want to... I know that... let's see. Sorry, reading the comments again. Uncle Social, that'd be great. Wiki containing things like Divi says. Uncle Social started Divi Wiki so we can put that on there. Nice to see you, Rat. Good to see you from Spain, right? Hopefully everything's going okay for you. LV says, what's up with the timing? I thought we always started 1 hour later. I think you're talking rubbish right now, LV. I think that's it. I started at the same time I always do. 3 p.m. Nope, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. It is, I know what it is. I don't know if you did, went into daylight savings time this week. That this is the first week where we have pushed our time ahead. So it is, that's what it is. You weren't speaking rubbish. You came in at, we did come early for you on that one apparently, but the U.S. is on daylight savings time now. So this is going to be the normal time for it now. I didn't even think about that the time changed. So yep, we did. It's a different time. Sorry, you international folks. That would explain a lot on doing that. So I didn't know that you didn't do that in Europe. There's some states here in the States that have thought about not doing it as well, or that don't do it or want to stay in it. It's a whole mess. Like, honestly, it's a real mess, and I can't wait for other things to standardize. In the UK, you do. Oh, cool. I thought that Mac had said that he did, but that's why I was confused. I knew that other places didn't. So anyway, I want to move on just a little bit. I can't find that cheat sheet right now, you guys. I know that there is some out. There are some out there, and I will do my best to search for it and find it, because the one I'm thinking of is like an image someone put together, like an infographic of the Divi CSS classes. So I wanted talking about this stuff that we were talking about with tutorials here, with all the CSS that we've learned from like the ET support staff. There were 2 posts on the blog this week that I legit wanted to call out that has nothing to do with them being Elegant Themes blogs. That Jason put out a blog this week on how to on how to create pop-out sections using the Divi boxed layout, where you have the box layout and then you have pop-out boxes on it. And then he and Mac did a video and tutorial on how to fill text with images for backgrounds using Divi. And guys, this is the most beautiful thing that I've seen in a long time. Like, I honestly did not know you could do this with the builder until I saw it, that they didn't use any external CSS to do this at all. It's the second one under the tutorial section. So check that out, because because it is just stunning on this one with the creative backgrounds using the fill and the bleeds, or then the blending and overlays. Like, they absolutely blew my mind on this one. So it was stuff that, I mean, it's obviously CSS, because it's the builder does a lot with CSS. I mean, it's adjusting the CSS on the fly, but I didn't know that you could do it in the builder like that. Like, this is crazy good stuff. That they're experts at this, and I am so proud that is out there now. I'm absolutely stealing it for some of my sites and doing it. So moving on, Lauren asks, what's the best way to migrate a website from WordPress to WordPress site? I've done that, Lauren, with the WP Migrate plugin that it's the official one that you use on the you go into your dashboard, then you go down to tools and you go to import export, and there is a plugin that it says, I think it's called WP Migrate, that I've backed up everything and then imported it to complete other installs, and it is like that. The only issue that you'll have if you use it as opposed to like snapshot migrating or migrating the entire like cPanel, things like that from host to host, is that your upload limit and your timeouts in your PHP files are going to be lower than what you need to go straight up through importing using HTTP. So you'll need to either go in and change your memory limits and upload limits and timeout settings, or like I did before I knew that that was a thing, I sat and refreshed it every 45 seconds to 2 minutes or whatever like that, and just sat there until all of my stuff was uploaded. So that will work as well, but I do like the WP Migrate. If you got small stuff and it won't take long. If they're massive sites, there are better options than that, but for just the few images and stuff I had, wasn't an issue. So either or, however you do it, but yeah, the snapshot stuff like that, the WP Migrate, there's a lot of good stuff out there like that. So you have a great weekend too, Rat. I still don't know how to say that. Retapula. Yep, can't do it. So moving down into the tutorials a little bit more. Securi put out a blog this week that is, I say it's a tutorial, but it's really a checklist of things that you need to look at on keeping your site clean. It's talking about the access points for different kinds of malware and different kinds of like just bad stuff, hackers, things that can be loose ports, so that you need to like keep an eye on. So make sure that you look at the Securi blog for that. Hi Isom, good to see you. I wanted to tell you, Isom, I did see, it's not quite the same yet. I know that I looked, that there is a car dealership. You had asked me about this last week. There is a car dealership layout pack on the list. I don't know when it's going to get done, but it was already there about midway on the list when I went to put it on the board. So they got you covered on that one. So like I said, Jamie asks, are there any major updates coming to Divi anytime soon? Yes. I am not allowed to speak on a couple of them that I know of, but yes, I'm very happy about a couple of them. I'm really happy about that. But the one that I can talk about, Nick has posted in some of the Facebook groups. I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the stream that we're putting out the developer update soon, which actually goes into one of my tutorials here, so that's good. It's a major update. It's 3.1 that we've been talking about for a while. It's the developer update where we're looking to integrate a lot more third-party plugins and extend the Visual Builder into your hands so that you guys can really, really make what you want to and make the Visual Builder do what you want to do. So we're adding hooks. We're adding a lot. Like, it's going to be a big update. That is the next one. That may not be something that affects you if you're not a developer who's making plugins and really adjusting with JavaScript and PHP, but that's gonna open up Divi. That is gonna open up a lot of what we see, and it's gonna change how a lot of people use Divi, because I know up to right now the Visual Builder, some people are still really hesitant to do, and when we open it up to third-party developers like that with the hooks and the JavaScript and getting it all working correctly, it's going to be a magnificent experience. I already can't use the backend plugin. Like, I cannot use it. The backend builder just baffles me. And I know how it works. I've used it a bunch, but it just baffles me because I've gotten so used to the visual, and it's so much more intuitive. I was working on a blog today where I had to, I was using one of our layout packs to make an example of a site, and I needed to use Snagit and point at different things. And I decided, I was like, I'll just use the backend builder for this. It's quick, it's easy, I'm already here, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out what in the world I was doing. I opened up the Visual Builder, did it, and even used the wireframe on it that looks just like the back end. just could not do it. That once you get used to the visual builder, it's there and it's good and it's exciting. I want to see what you guys are going to come up with. So I'm happy. I'm happy about the update for that one. Irfan in Facebook asks, when are we going to update the contact form? Do you mean the contact form module in the Divi builder, things like that, or something on our side? I just want to make sure, because I haven't heard anything about the module on the Divi builder. And does anyone, LV asks, does anyone have an awesome tool to make a stop motion GIF of pics that you can upload in Divi? I have used one. I think it's gifmaker.me. I think that's what it is. Let me see if I'm telling you right. Yeah, this is the one I've used. Gifmaker.me is the one that I've used to do stuff like that. Hopefully that doesn't have the really weird like percentage signs at the end of it. I pasted that in YouTube. I will paste that in Facebook as well so that y'all see it too. But that's the one I've used, and it's specifically that I've done it for what you're saying it did. I used it to upload to Divi, and if you look, I don't remember what article it was, but some of my articles I know from last fall and last winter on the ET blog, if they have moving GIFs in, animated GIFs, what am I doing? It's from gifmaker.me because I couldn't figure out any other way to do it. Oh, excuse me. So going back to the Divi update, so talking about that, what that is we're basically making our plugin extensible, using giving you guys the ability to hook into it, get arguments, all of this stuff. So one of the articles under tutorials is called how to make a WordPress plugin extensible. And it's and that's why I wanted to talk about it. I was going to talk about the developer update because, hey guys, we're doing this. This is awesome for you. So I'll go the other way around. This will give you an idea of how, and I don't know if this is how we're doing. I mean, I'm not on the dev team, but this is how you do it. I mean, it is, if you're building a plugin and you want it to be extensible, you want other people to be able to hook into it and make their own things off of yours, or even update yours, do anything you can. Look at the article that Smashing put in, and it's a Smashing magazine article, and y'all know I love Smashing, so it's really good. They go through and walk you through the steps and show you exactly what it is. So if you're getting into development, if you haven't made plugins, if you do make plugins, look at it, and it will give you just an idea of what to expect if you've never used or built an extensible plugin before. But that's what we're doing with the Divi module. Or the Divi builder, excuse me. Very quickly, I wanted to talk about how to add Facebook comments to WordPress. This is something I've had asked a bunch. It has two easy methods on there. So one of them is a plugin that anybody can use. It talks about how to set it up, and it goes through setting up the Facebook app, I think is what they call it. You have to go through and get your Facebook API to be able to connect to your website. The other one is that Elementor, speaking back to the beginning of the stream, has a Facebook comments block that you can use and drag in. So if you're an Elementor user or any of your clients use it and they want that, there is a block for that, which I thought was pretty cool. I ended up deciding not to use Facebook comments on some of my stuff, but I also do like the idea of Facebook comments. I don't know if you guys have ever used them, but I know that I've used it to promote like my personal pages. You can, when I see something has a Facebook comment, I always end up leaving a comment, but I'll leave it as like the page for my personal blog so that people will see it and they'll be like, oh, this guy has really insightful things to say. Let me look at his page. That is the biggest use of Facebook comments for me. Even for myself, it would be letting people do that because I like people leaving their links on my site so I can click through and, I like blog conversations. Uncle Social says friends don't let friends add Facebook comments to their WordPress sites. Don't be so reliant on one platform. Facebook's the next MySpace. I don't know if it's the next MySpace. I think it's too big for that right now. I mean, I do feel bad. I'm with you on that. I don't like the idea of it as well. I mean, that's why I decided against it. I use Discuss or Discus, however you pronounce it. But I decided with it and then went back to regular WordPress comments. But I don't like being, I really don't like being dependent on one platform as well. And the only real thing about it is that I've used Facebook login in entirely too many places right now. So I'd had to make a lot of new, man, I read comments and I got confused again. CLV, I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of new accounts for my Facebook login stuff. Daryl says, can an individual client I no longer support buy an API key to update their own site? Daryl, yes, they can. If they buy their own account, if they become a member of Elegant Themes for a year, for a lifetime, whatever it is, they can just put their information in on your site and replace yours, and it will take over just fine. The API key is will check for updates and things like that, but it will not remove anything that you've already put on there. It's just like if your subscription expires, you won't get any more updates, but it will not wipe your site or break any kind of functionality or anything like that. You'll still have full featured functionality in whatever it is that you've got. And then I've got a question on YouTube. Hey, Colombian Hosting. I'm looking at buying Divi for my personal use at some point. Cool. Awesome. Good. Is the 10th anniversary with the 20% off the best price, or will there be something better in the future? I think this is the best price. I really do. If you look back, I'm going to look back. Elegant Themes. Nope, that's not a gig. I said a gigant themes. Elegant themes.com/Black Friday. Black Friday, I believe, is our biggest deal of the year. We don't have our Black Friday deal, even our page up right now for that. But if I remember correctly from it, I believe it was 20% off as well. So I think that is the highest discount that we give. It could have been. I don't think it was 25. Like, I'm really thinking it's not. So 20, I believe, is the biggest one that we give. So yeah, if you're gonna grab it, it'll be another at least 6 months before you get this one. Again, as far as I know, because we don't have the even the discount page to see that again. Isom in Facebook is talking about the contact form as well, says that the contacts need serious updates with date formats, SNM formats, phone formats. I haven't actually used it in a long time for different kinds of information being put in. What kind of format does it do? I actually end up not using ours. I end up using Ninja Forms and Caldera Forms a lot more because of the way they do it. If you guys are looking at using a contact form and you don't like ours, which happens, I understand. Caldera Forms actually has a plugin that is Caldera for Divi. It was written by a member of the Divi Nation and is a third-party extension for Caldera Forms for Divi, but it should do what you need it to do because Caldera is super, super extensible as well. It can do a whole lot of stuff, and it plugs in with Divi. That may be something that works for you guys as well. According to a report from Reuters, the European Commission has proposed new rules that require search engines such as Google to reveal their ranking factors. Oh, please, Tobias. Tobias said that I want to see that happen. I would love that. But Uncle Social brings a really good point that it could be horrific if everyone starts gaming it again to boost their sites. I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day. When I was in high school, it was, this will date me for good or bad for you guys. When I was in high school, when I was a junior, Google had just become a thing, and my friend and I went to a web search competition. I think it was in the year 2000, and we used Google, and we came in second because it was so much better than the other ones, because the way that they ranked back in the 90s and 2000s was just absolutely crazy. It was keyword stuffing. You would get really unrelated stuff. So it could go back to gaming like that. It could go back if you were looking for if you're looking for divination, that it would all of a sudden come up with mysticism and divination stuff, which is that could be an issue. Colombian Hosting did find a blog on ET saying that it was 25% off on Black Friday, so you'll get a little bit of a discount on that if you wait to Black Friday. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's one where it doesn't come around often. At least let me say that. I actually thought it was 20 at that point, but it was a quarter off. I think that they said when we were at WordCamp US, it was during the Black Friday sale that we were doing, and they did say that that was the biggest discount that we'd ever given, was 25% then. So whatever that one is the absolute biggest. So 20 right now. So I still say you guys ought to go get it, though, because it's a long time to be without Divi. So the comments in Facebook, Rick Owens got 10% off Lifetime when he bought it a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, Rick. I don't know if, I don't think they do anything like that. So if they would like prorate it out or anything, but yeah, but that is that stinks, but at least you're a Lifetime member now. Like that's my favorite part. Like that's my favorite part of that. Wow, it's late. We've been talking a lot. We've actually been having a really good discussion. I've literally lost track of time. One of the articles under tutorials here is speeding up your WordPress site with Jetpack features, and I'm giving this a shot. That there's a lot of people who don't like Jetpack. I like Jetpack, but I've not taken advantage of a lot of its stuff because it can interfere with other things. And they've actually removed the name Photon from their image stuff. And I was reading through this and a bunch of the other stuff on WooCommerce, and they're now just calling Photon an image CDN. And since they introduced, as we talked about a few weeks ago, the lazy loading through Jetpack, I'm actually trying on my newest personal site that I'm working on. It's I'm using lazy loading and their image CDN because I want to see what it does. I had an issue with another CDN messing with my HTTPS loading, and so I was getting all sorts of weird security issues, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Jetpack one works. I want to know how it does. And I also learned that that's why when you look at some images on websites that they have like io.i0.wordpress, it's because they're using Photon. That's what it comes up as if you're using the Jetpack CDN. People are talking in the comments. It's a good deal for a Divier for almost a year now and didn't see a better deal. Became a member without a deal. Hey, that's I've done that before. And one came out 2 weeks later. Totally thinking about getting it now since the deal is so good. Colombian, do it. And I'm saying that because I know obviously you love Divi now, and I want you to buy it. I want you to be here. I want you to be here for a lifetime. So just as I'm finishing up here, like I said, that I lost a little bit of track of time here talking to you guys. That there are specifically, I had to get a Yoast one in. You guys know I do. That there's a really cool one on article publish dates, because I've seen both. That I've seen a lot of stuff on both sides of it with different kinds of information on SEO, that when you update an article, whether you need to change its post date, where that will essentially roll it out again to any kind of RSS feeds, anything new, and basically make it look like a new post to Google. And what Yoast says is that it depends, which makes me really happy that they actually told you like this, because they said that if you just minor updates, it's just some stuff where you change a few wordings, you do an update to it, like, oh, I've added, a couple of sentences here to clarify, or new information came out, leave the date, because you're not changing anything substantially. That if it's but if it is substantive changes, if you're like basically doing a rewrite, they said that what they do on their blog is to completely update the date to the new post. So that will make it be a completely new post. So I was really I was really pleased to hear that, because that's the way I've always done it. That's how I've handled it. Like, if something's getting really good rankings and I just need to change some things, I've never messed with the date before. But when I've gone and like, oh, this is terrible, and I've just taken the entire thing and made it new, I've changed the date. So that's what I've done. Torrin Shaw says, I'd rather write a new article if there's enough changes. What I did recently was taking a new article. I took an old article that was terrible, and I took it as a base, worked a couple of days on writing, basically making it a completely new post with just some of the stuff from the other, not even cutting and pasting, but just like completely reworking it, and then posted it as a new post, and then 301'd it to 301 to the old one to the new one, so that it would get, because it was on the same topic using the same keywords, but it was a completely new article. So that way it just kind of took care of two birds with one stone on that one. There's a discussion getting it now because the deal's so good with Divi. Imagine what Divi will cost in another 3 years. I don't know. Like, I really have no clue how any of it goes. Start playing with it and have fun. Going on with a lifetime. Yeah. So there's that. I also wanted you guys to look at the first two articles under resources. These are the ones that I'm really, really happy about, that Torque does a really fantastic look at how we're approaching SEO right now, because I get so frustrated at when I'm asking Siri or Google to search for something for me, that they come up with these really terrible results. Like, I don't understand, but it's because we search for things with voice differently than we do on our phones. Like, if I were looking for voice search SEO, I would actually type in voice search SEO, but I'm never gonna say, hey Siri, voice search SEO. That's not what's going to happen. We talk to them as though they're an entity. I'm even referring to those things as them, as though they're anthropomorphized. So Torque is going through the idea here that we need to make our headings more semantic. We need to make our ideas more semantic and approach the content that we're trying to get out there in a more natural way, and put it out as though we are having a conversation with someone, because it's not as though we would type in Divi best discount and that would be what we typed in, but we would actually ask, okay Google, what's the best Divi discount there's ever been? And I turned on my phone when I did that. Let's see what it comes up with. It's still searching because I'm still talking.
Found this in your Gmail.
But I did get a discount code, and I'll be dogged. See, the search doesn't work very well. Divi space discount code and I'll be dogged. I said to my wife one day. So that's why we need to make sure that our sites are optimized for voice search, is because we use them all the time. I kind of hope I did, Uncle Social. That was actually why I said them like that. I won't use the A word because that's too much of a cliche, but I use the other ones just in case my voice patterns hit somebody's, and I've had it happen to me, and it makes me laugh every time. But exactly. So talking about ordering 3,000 packs of adult diapers. Also, but the second one going in before I run out, the last thing we have time for is something that you guys were actually talking about earlier. I think it was Lauren talking about this, about how to migrate everything over. And this is from host to host, but there was a post in one of the Facebook groups that was how this person had an issue, or had an experience. I don't want to say an issue, had an experience migrating from WP Engine to SiteGround. And so because you're moving from one host that's a managed host to a different kind where it's either shared or VPS or dedicated, that the two you're not moving cPanel to cPanel, which is an easy migration. You're moving to different kinds. And they put out a YouTube video in that Facebook group, and there are a lot of comments on that as well that people have talked about. So I linked to it. It's the second one under resources. So I want you guys to check that out if you're really concerned about migrating. because it really was good stuff. It's awesome. So I hope you guys will be able to get some use out of that. I mean, and it's something to keep in your back pocket for whenever you actually have to move a host, just to know that that kind of thing is out there to be able to grab a resource, which is really what this stuff is. The fact that I've got a document with all of this stuff that I can search anytime I need, I've honestly gone and like, oh, I need to do that. I think I saw that in one of my tutorials and gone and searched my Google Doc for all the ones I've done over the last 6 months. So that was fun to have. There's also a bunch of cool stuff about crypto. There's a walkthrough that Smashing did all the way from Flash to where we are now with JavaScript on the web and how it evolved. That's really, really cool. And 7 reasons why your WordPress plugins and themes won't install. I love it. WPMU always does really, really great stuff. So that's me. That has been This Week in WordPress. You guys are all fantastic. Thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all for coming in every Friday with me, and tell your friends. Let's make as many friends as we possibly can. I love doing this. Hopefully your Friday has gone a little bit quicker, although I apologize if I have now come earlier on your screens and made your Friday not quite as you expected on Friday. Sorry about daylight savings time, folks, who don't go into daylight savings time. But remember, next week, if you have anything that you want me to talk about next week, if you think the group would like, if you want to share with the class, shoot me an email at bj@elegantthemes.com, tweet me at Professor Beej, and we'll look at it, see what's going on, and really see what's happening next week in WordPress. So I will see you guys next Friday. And remember, I do want you guys to remember that Mac does a fantastic live show at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday mornings, and Donetta or Jason does a use case of our new layout pack every Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, and I am super excited about this next week's. I will totally be there. I'm going to be using this layout pack a lot myself, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's exciting, and hopefully I'll see you guys in those live stream comments. So you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, like I said, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.